So that would be your ideal smoothie. One banana, some strawberries, some blueberries, and your protein. How about the milk, or are you having it in water?
Oh yeah, some almond milk.
Cool. Yeah, so just be careful here because, as you know, certain almond milks come sweetened and some come unsweetened. So, you can decide which one you want to use.
I think
Um,
we've been using like this unsweetened, like original flavored almond milk.
okay, so that one, I mean, the carbs are super low, so I'm assuming that it is unsweetened. Or actually, no, it says the sugar's 15. So yeah, you should swap that one out. If you swap that one out and add in specifically an unsweetened one, that will probably be for the best.
Sweetened almond.
Yeah, any of those are fine. They're all going to be very similar.
Okay.
Nice. And you normally have 1 cup of almond milk, or do you scale it up?
Yeah, usually just one cup.
Okay, okay.
I think that's
So
enough.
this is your ideal
Or
protein shake.
actually, it'd probably be two. It's a pretty big cup.
Okay, so yeah, then go ahead and increase that. So 8 fluid ounces would be 1 cup, and 16 fluid ounces would be 2 cups. So yeah, on the left there, you would actually, yep, change that to 2. Boom. Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at the bottom under snacks, you'll see the calorie totals, the carb totals, the fat totals, the protein totals, the sodium totals, and the sugar totals. So if you take a look at what you're really getting out of this protein shake, you're getting 373 calories, you're getting 54 grams of carbs, 6 grams of fat, and 28 grams of protein, 472 milligrams of sodium, which is fine, and 31 grams of sugar, which is a lot. So the
Yeah.
thing with sugar is really you want to minimize it. Diabetes is a thing. We're young, you're young, you're pretty healthy, you're trying to lift weights. So sugar definitely isn't a major concern for you at this point in your life. But the truth of like type 2 diabetes is that people develop it slowly over their life. And yes, physical activity helps a lot, but sugar intake is sugar intake. And if you actually look down below that, you'll see, it says your daily goal for sugar, which is the rightmost column. A daily goal is 98 grams, which is absurd. MyFitnessPal does a really bad job with that, in my opinion. There's a lot of good research that basically says, hey, the less sugar you consume, the better. And I've seen
Yeah.
like PhDs in nutrition recommend as little as freaking like 25 to 30 grams of sugar a day if
Jeez.
you could do it, right? So going back to like when you first shared with me your smoothie, I told you like I'd probably lose the
Yeah,
banana because
ditch
it's
the
really high sugar,
bananas.
but not even that. Like if you think about what a protein shake should be, well, it should be a vessel in which you're getting a ton of protein, hence protein shake. You want it to taste good too, sure, but you don't want to get carried away and have like dessert every protein shake. So, what I like to do with my protein shakes is, or what I do with my clients is I tell them, hey, okay, make your protein shake as tasty as you need it to be to, make it so that you feel happy to have it every day, even sometimes
Right.
twice a day, 3 times a day, depending on the person. And once you get to that point, then start to wean off of the sugar. So if you're using a lot of fruit in it, try to start taking out the sugars that are unnecessary and not doing much for you. Here you'll see, the blueberries are giving you 15 grams of sugar and the banana is giving you 14 grams of sugar. So if we're just going in terms of how much sugar, you might say, oh, the blueberries are, higher sugar, which is true. But blueberries have a lot more micronutrients in them than bananas do. So if we're comparing blueberries versus bananas on, a general perspective, I would say blueberries are the superior fruit. So me personally, I would say lose the banana and keep the blueberries. And then you can look at the strawberries. Now, that strawberry listing you chose, that's actually not correct. So you'll see how it says 4 calories for 6 strawberries. That's 100% inaccurate. And what happens on MyFitnessPal is people add in these foods, and there's actually a lot of entries that are just simply incorrect. You can even see
Right.
that there's 1 gram of carbohydrate and 1 gram of sugar coming from 6 medium strawberries. I don't think so, unless it's saying it's 1 strawberry, which maybe that would be the case. Maybe that's what they're implying. But my point is that when you're adding foods, be careful to like just kind of look at the numbers and see that they kind of make sense. Like if you see
Yeah.
000 for all the macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins, that's generally a bad sign, and that means that like the entry is kind of incomplete. So if you really want to put strawberries in your smoothie, I would say get rid of that choice of strawberry and go back and add another one and see if you can find one that, you know, looks more legit.
Let's see. Probably this one.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
that's
that
like
looks,
check marked.
yeah, check mark is like verified. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now look at that. So now it's giving
Yeah.
you 50 calories for, you know, 1 cup of strawberries, and that makes a lot more sense. So strawberries are pretty low sugar too. So between all the fruit you have added, I like blueberries the most from nutrient standpoint, but it is high sugar. I don't like banana, so I would take out banana personally just to get your sugar down, because you haven't even finished adding your whole day's worth of food yet, and you're already at almost
Right.
60 grams. And like I just said, 25 to 30 grams is like a really great place to be in terms of sugar intake per day. It might be unrealistic for some people, but really the lower you can get it, the better. So I'll just kind of leave it at that for sugar. You know, do what you want with it, but you know, less is more when it comes to that stuff. So that, you know, once you've decided on like what your ideal protein smoothie looks like, then you can go to quick tools at the bottom of snacks. You'll see quick tools, and I think you can add that or remember meal. That's what it said. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
say remember meal, yeah,
Oh,
and you can
yeah.
name it, and then you say, oh, my protein shake, or yeah, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
I like the smoothie.
Boom.
Smoothie just sounds more appetizing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so now it's saved as smoothie, and I think if you were to go to add a new food, like if you just click on add food anywhere, I think if
Like
you,
here
yeah,
or
yeah, anywhere, I think if you type in smoothie, or let's see, meal, there it is.
oh
Yep,
yeah.
yeah, so now it makes it a lot more easy to just kind of add things. You can do that for all your meals, so you know, it's not so
Right.
tedious after a while.
They can just like add food to my breakfast, go to my meals, add a smoothie.
Exactly, exactly. So right now you have smoothie twice, right? So if you were having that
Yeah.
protein shake twice a day, now look at
So
your
I just
sugar
remove all
intake for the
this.
day. Well, well, yeah. So this is
Oh
if
yeah,
you were
true.
having it
Yeah.
twice a day. If you only plan to have it once a day, yeah, then you can delete it from your snacks.
Yeah, I usually only do the fruit one in the morning just to get that little bit of energy, and
Okay.
because I don't drink coffee or any of that shit, so
Mm-hmm.
I really only drink water and the smoothies.
Okay.
But
That's fine. So if you have you know, smoothie A and smoothie B, you can save them as such too, where you can kind of take
true,
out the
yeah.
fruit here and, you know, adjust it as needed and save it as a new food, you know, and name it appropriately. So here you still have the strawberries added, which you may
I've
want
been
them.
I've been kind of thinking of switching up my afternoon one because like this is going to be the one I drink after my workout.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to add more like a protein-based stuff like peanut butter, like this is where the
Yes.
seeds would come in and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you just take a look at the very bottom under totals for your
Hmm.
day, for your whole day there, you'll see the top row where it says totals 1970, right? That's what you have added so far. And if you
Right.
look at how much you've added of carbs and fats and protein versus your goal numbers, for example, 214 versus 300 or 67
Right.
versus 100, if you notice, you've added a lot of carbs already, right? You only have
Hmm.
75 grams, or I'm sorry, 86 grams of carbs left. And fats, you still have 33 grams, which maybe that seems like you have less available. But
Yeah.
I suppose what I'm saying is like you want to be careful of, you know, adding too many carbs and not enough
Right.
fats,
Going
or too many
going
carbs
too
and not enough
much. Yeah.
protein. You want to hit
Yeah. See,
those
this
numbers.
is. I feel like this is a problem I'm doing too, because like just like you said, like sometimes I feel like I'm taking most days I feel like I'm taking in most carbs and not enough protein. Like
Exactly.
I just
And
feel it in my body.
yes,
Like
yes. And the solution is we have a couple of solutions. One is you could just increase the amount of protein powder per smoothie. So, for example, if it was
Mhm.
1.5 scoops instead of just 1 scoop, all of a sudden you
Yeah,
just added, you know, 24
I
more
do
grams of
do two
protein.
scoops. I do 2 scoops because I know
Okay,
I need it.
so if you're doing 2 scoops, you want to adjust that in your saved meal. So, for example, both of the protein smoothies you've added, they each are only 1 scoop. So you want to
Oh, I
go in
see.
and you can adjust it. You can click on it, and then, yep, you can click right there, and you can say 2 servings. And you can do
Oh
that for the
yeah.
other one as well. And you're going to want to
I
go ahead and resave it, or, you know, edit the one that you did save earlier as a smoothie.
I see. Well,
Yeah, so one thing at a
go to
time
my
here.
meals.
Yeah, I think it was,
Can I
yeah.
edit it here? I don't think I can.
That's unfortunate. That's kind of silly. You can just delete it and resave it.
Well, that sucks because I just removed everything from it. But it should be all right here. I'll just redo
Yeah, I
it.
know. Sometimes it's tedious and annoying, but once you get it all set up, it'll be a little bit more streamlined for you.
What are we missing? The bananas. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, so let's see, 2 cups of almond milk, 1 cup of the strawberries, 2 scoops of protein, 1 cup blueberries, 1 medium banana. So right, this is assuming you had all that stuff. That's what you want in one protein smoothie, your smoothie with fruit at least, right? So you can now do quick tools and save that as smoothie A or smoothie with fruit or however you want to name it.
Yeah, we'll do morning smoothie.
There you go. Yep. And then now you can, in the snacks area, you can kind of take out the fruit and then save it, without.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe no
So
banana and
I guess this will be like the template for creating stuff.
Exactly. So you could add the peanut butter like you were saying if you wanted.
Yeah, like what's a good post-workout drink right here?
Well, I think I think what you have going already, just the almond milk and the protein powder, is kind of the foundation because that ensures you're getting adequate protein. I mean, 48 grams of protein is honestly more than enough. I would say 40 grams is like a good upper limit for the amount of protein per meal. But it's not a big deal if you go over a little bit. It's just kind of diminishing returns with the amount of protein you're putting in each meal. But you're getting those nice fats from the peanut butter, so that's good. So that's a fine post-workout meal. And again, you're getting like almost 60 grams of protein there, so that's very solid. So you could save that as its own, to be afternoon smoothie or post-workout smoothie, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, post-workout.
Yeah. Boom. So now you have both your smoothies saved, and when you add in,
could I save this so I don't have to like keep?
Yes, exactly.
So I could just do this.
So it saves when you do quick tools and then remember meal, it's going to save everything in that category. So in this case, breakfast. So you may want to, like, if that's what you want to eat every single breakfast, then
yeah, like this is so ideal because it's something I can make and just bring to work or take out of the fridge and bring to work.
Okay, so before you save it, let's just verify all the serving sizes. So the strawberry yogurt there, is that accurate? Is that 1 serving? Like how does that work for you?
This one right here, this is 2 servings, yeah.
And that's pretty accurate to like what you'd want to be eating.
Yeah, I'll do 2 yogurts in the morning after eating everything.
Okay.
Or actually, no. In the morning, I want to do 1 because I just ate everything, and then in the afternoon, I do the 2 yogurts.
Okay. So that's a quarter cup of cashews. That's a little serving there. You have these peanut butter pretzels. All right. 2 hash browns. Is that from McDonald's?
It's not from McDonald's. Like I just clicked these ones from McDonald's. I'll add a better one.
I mean, that might be a fine like template hash brown, but yeah, if you can find one that's maybe just that is fine.
Yeah, I think the ones I have 160 calories in them. So
add it at the bottom there. If you want to have 1 or 2, you can adjust that now. All right, and then
eggs we do 3.
Cool.
2 pieces, so 2 times 3.
So it's actually okay. You do have 6 pieces. Okay. Okay. And what else? So the blueberries, 1 cup with your smoothie, the 2 cups of almond milk, the same thing with the scoops of protein and strawberries, and then so the yogurt's there. That's the same one that you had added already. And so that's everything. So okay, so let me ask you this.
Pretty ideal.
Before you save it, so all these foods on their breakfast, are you eating them in one sitting, or is that kind of spread out over the course of some time?
Yeah, so I will drink the smoothie first.
Okay.
Because like I said, I don't have an appetite, but like I'm always thirsty and I can drink things very easily.
Okay.
So I like to drink that smoothie in the morning, and then probably about halfway or like a quarter left of the smoothie, I'll start eating the burrito.
Okay.
Or the hash browns. And I'll eat those together, and then I eat the yogurt too.
Okay. So if you had to say,
and then I'll snack on the rest.
time span, right? So like, let's say, like, what time do you start consuming these foods on their breakfast, approximately?
About 8:30, right
8:30.
after I clock in.
Okay, and then at what point do you think you finish eating all those foods, approximately?
I'll finish eating all that probably by 9:30, 10 o'clock the latest, if I'm
Okay.
busy.
Okay. So, okay. So I'm gonna come back to this later, but I'm just gonna say real quick that that might be like an unnecessary amount of food to consume all at once. And the reason I say that is because I just mentioned before the protein. There's been some good research done, like kind of recently, that kind of says, hey, you can eat more grams of protein like in one sitting, but there's diminishing returns into how well your body is using the amino acids from that
Like
protein.
breaking it down and shit, right?
I think your body can break it down. It's just that you get to a point where, like, I don't know if you ever heard the term of bolus of food, but basically, like, when you eat a meal, you chew it, you kind of break it down in your mouth, you swallow it, and that goes in your stomach, and your stomach acids do some stuff with it. Once it's
Right.
all kind of like homogenized and, let's say, for lack of a better word, blended in your stomach, that's now considered a bolus of food. So you now have a bolus of food worth almost 1,700 calories, 132 grams of carbs, 80 grams fat, 114 grams protein, which
Disgusting.
it is. I mean, yeah, I mean it's human nature, right? So in terms of your grand total for the day, those numbers might be fine. But in terms of one sitting, what your metabolism
One
now has to
sitting, yeah.
process through, you're giving your body 115 grams of protein. Now the research suggests that like 35 to 45 grams of protein
That
per
low,
bowl,
really?
yeah, it is optimal for like that your body can actually use it and do what it needs to with the protein. If you consume more than that, what could happen is that there's just diminishing returns in how well your body can take that extra protein and utilize it, or your body is also really good at converting types of energy to other types of energy. So what I mean is, if you ate an excessive amount of protein, whether in one sitting or over the course of the day, your body can take the excess protein that it doesn't need for protein reasons and convert it into stored carbohydrate or stored body fat. So, we can get really like nitty gritty with your diet here
Right.
and try to fine tune it in that way. But for now, I'm just telling you about it right now. We don't need to change it just
No, I
yet.
love it.
But we should keep it in mind as we keep building your day, because at the end of the day, you want to hit your calorie numbers, but before you go to sleep every day. But
Right.
like you're saying, you maybe can't eat so early in the morning, and like there's a time factor. Like we only have so many hours in a day to put this food in our bodies. So
Yeah,
how can
like
we do it
I'm
efficiently?
I find myself constantly checking the clock, like fuck, like I gotta eat,
Yeah,
like
yeah, and that
because
is the
like
case. If you're a hard gainer like you are, you're definitely a leaner guy. You've always been a leaner guy your whole
yeah.
life, and you're trying to gain weight. So like that is always going to be the case for you. But maybe we can fine tune it and get to this point where like you are a well-oiled machine where you're consuming food very regularly throughout the day. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how it works
that's
for you at work because you're working. So sometimes there's dedicated hours in which you can eat. But it sounds
I
pretty
definitely
liberal.
have I definitely have lots of open windows. Like
Hmm.
I'm basically an appointment setter for the service team.
Okay.
So I'm a glorified receptionist at this rate,
Okay. Okay.
because if I'm not reaching out to customers through like a either a recall list of like vehicles that have recalls on them, or first service of new vehicles that are purchased recently, if I'm not doing that, I'm basically sitting there waiting for a call to come in.
Okay.
But yeah, my manager jokes around all the time. He's like, all this kid's allowed to do is eat food and set appointments because he knows like I'm trying to gain weight now.
Right. Right.
but 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 yeah, it's really lenient. I have a lot of time. I can prep my
Okay.
like
Well,
eat my
that's
food and
great for
walk away and
you.
do all this stuff.
That's very helpful for your dietary
Hmm.
needs. But so now that you know what I just said about like, ideal amount of nutrition per meal, let's just kind of scroll down a little bit for a second from breakfast. Let's just leave breakfast alone. So now you have like a template lunch there, right now. That's just how it is. And you have your snacks. We haven't added dinner yet, but let's look at your total
Right.
calories for the day before we even add anything else. So right now you're at about 200 grams of carbs, still have 100 left to go. You're actually over your fat already by 10 grams, and you're really close to your protein goal. So we're over fat already, and we haven't even added dinner. So if you scroll back up, let's look
Is
at
is that good though? Like fats? Like, do I want to have a lot of fats in my diet like that?
100 grams is plenty. I wouldn't recommend more at this point. If anything, you want to get
Hmm.
more protein and more carbs, and we can
Right.
adjust the ratios here. So this is a 40% carbs, 30% fat, 30% protein
Like,
ratio.
where would all that fat be coming from?
So let's scroll up and find out. So if we look at that column for fat, if we just go down the list from breakfast down, we see 12 grams, 7 grams. So what are the,
Bacon.
yes, exactly. And I was going to point it out earlier, but I want to get through this process in this way. So I know bacon's really tasty, but the truth of the matter is it's super fatty. And yeah, it has 15 grams of protein, but consider that ratio of 21 grams of fat to
Yeah,
15
the
grams of
ratio.
protein versus look at your whey protein. 2 grams of fat to 48 grams of protein. So you see what I'm talking about here? So
Yeah.
we're over your fat consumption for the day. We haven't even added dinner yet, and we're not at our calorie goals. So really what
It's
that tells me
crazy.
is we need to lose fat in your diet. We don't necessarily need to lose it from bacon, but we need to lose it from somewhere because we're concerned with the total amount of energy you're getting from
No,
fat. So you could just take out the
we're
bacon.
cutting back on bacon.
Yeah, you could reduce the amount of bacon. So instead of 6 slices, it could be
Definitely,
half that
yeah,
amount.
definitely reduce it.
Yeah, and this is
Where's
the right
like
way to look at food, where it's not that you have to not eat, certain foods that are high fat or high carbs.
just
It's just
eat
that you need
less
to
of it?
be, yes, exactly. You have to be mindful of how much. And look at that. So now it's only 7 grams of fat. Let's go back down to the totals.
We fixed it.
Okay, well, so we're close, right? So we're under the
Yeah.
threshold, but we haven't added dinner and we still have almost 600 calories left that we want to eat. So it's not very realistic that we're going to get those extra 600 calories without increasing our fat above 100. So again, we still have to be thinking, okay, well, I need to lower my fat more. So we can go back to your protein shake, right? 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. That's a lot of peanut butter. That's 16 grams of fat. It's almost as much from the bacon. Can we make that 1 tablespoon of peanut butter? Can we make that
Yeah.
half a tablespoon of peanut butter? Me personally, I do like a teaspoon, maybe like a heaping
I,
teaspoon, which is probably
I
just a
don't even
tablespoon.
use peanut butter, but like I know it's good too.
It's only
And
good
like
to if you need the extra calories, but it's
I
not necessarily. I
see.
wouldn't call peanut butter a health food. Peanut oil isn't necessarily the best oil for you, and really
Alright.
it's just used as like a thickening agent in a smoothie. So if you wanted your smoothie to be thicker and higher calories, then
Yeah,
yeah,
why is
it's
everyone
helpful.
using 2 teaspoons?
That's the standard serving size, but you can manually adjust it. So you can just add any one of them,
Oh,
and then
can
when
I?
yeah, and you can do half a serving, or you can
Oh,
just change it there. Yeah,
sweet.
exactly. And you can do that up at in the breakfast one
Yeah,
as
just like
well.
cut it in half basically.
Yeah, and also remember we saved your smoothie before, so we maybe saved that prematurely. We can resave it again once we have fine tuned everything. So let's see, is there peanut butter up there? Oh no, you
I
didn't
don't
add it to that one. Okay,
no
good.
no.
Okay, so I guess it would just be your post workout smoothie that you want
Yeah.
to adjust. But
Oh, I
before we
guess I would have
resave it,
to edit some of that.
yeah, but before we resave it, again, looking at your totals, okay, now we need 700 calories still. We are 12 grams under fat. So you could potentially eat a dinner where you're only getting 12 grams of fat, you're getting 100 grams of carbs, and you're getting 30 grams of protein like you still need. But that may not be enough of a fat budget for it. But let's wait and
Right.
see before we start removing more fat from your diet. So, we can start talking about lunch and dinner now. Now, lunch, you added in a little bit of pasta there, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of broccoli, and some of your Alfredo sauce. Now, we can, if you look at your lunch, it's 2 ounces of pasta. Now, we don't really know how much that is. You maybe would prefer to be eating more. And if you look
Yeah.
at just your calorie breakdown right now, breakfast is 1,500 calories, lunch is 400 calories, and your snack is 400 calories. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can eat a massive amount of calories in one meal. But again, as we were talking about before, like what's optimal, what's efficient in terms of protein distribution throughout the day, 100 grams is still a lot more than that 40, 45
Right.
gram upper limit I was
This
talking about.
breakfast just needs to be cut into two, basically.
Exactly, exactly. And if you could space it out a little bit, and I can't give you like a hard number of, oh, like eat half of it, within 1 hour, and then wait 1 hour, and then eat another half of it. You kind of have to go by feel here, but certainly not in one sitting. Even if you have the
Yeah.
stomach for it, it may not be optimal, for digestion and all that. So,
Yeah.
but going back to lunch,
Yeah, sometimes I feel like just constipated because how much shit I'm eating.
Yes,
And
yes,
like,
and if you spread it out, it'll be better. If you drink lots of water, it'll be better. But you are trying to bulk, and when you're bulking, you're eating
yeah.
more food than your body needs, and that's just kind of
Hmm.
the name of the game here. So you're going to kind of deal with some digestion woes along the way, but we're gonna try to fine tune it too with fiber and water intake,
Yeah.
and just spacing out the food too.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to work on. Like, starting later in the day sucks because yeah, I have less time. But if I just figure out like like I'll eat this breakfast in the morning, like not that whole thing, but like the smoothie and the burrito, for example. I'll eat that and I just won't be hungry until like 2 or 3 o'clock sometimes. But like at let's say 11 or 12, I know I need to eat again because I need
Because
to eat
time
again
is of
before
the
I leave
essence.
work,
Right, right,
and
right.
then when I get home, I need to eat again.
Yes. So you're right. So spacing out calories is fine. So in MyFitnessPal defaults to giving you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. You can
Hmm.
actually customize that for yourself. For example, on my MyFitnessPal, I actually changed the titles of my meals from breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks to meal one, meal two, meal
Yeah.
three, meal four, meal five, because I like to eat them spaced out. I don't actively use MyFitnessPal right now, but when I was, that's how I did it. And it felt arbitrary to me because I wasn't always eating breakfast at breakfast time. I wasn't always eating lunch
Yeah,
at lunchtime.
that's exactly like what's going on in my head. Just the breakfast, lunch, and dinner is what's like giving me that urgency of like I need to eat because it's this
Yes.
time, you know.
Right, right.
Like,
And
but
you
if I
can.
just do the meal 1, 2, 3, I'll be like, all right, I'm already eating meal 2. I'm good for meal 3 and 4 later, you know.
Yeah, so let me see if we go to, yeah, here it is. So if you go to settings, so if you scroll up, if you go to settings right there, you'll see it. All right, so back to business. Um, yeah, so we were talking about lunch and your total macros and how we can change the meals. So you change the names of the meals. So you could kind of
Hmm.
start moving stuff around now if you want to split meal
Yeah, I
one.
was gonna say like I might just fuck around with this real quick.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if you can drag and drop, which is yeah,
No.
that's such a shame. They really got to get on their game here. But you can just manually do it. You can move things over, and then once you get it set up, like I said, we can save all these meals, and it'll pretty much just be clockwork. You don't even need to track it, continuously every day if you know for a fact that you're gonna eat, these meals. It's just more for us like planning it out now.
Right, yeah, just to get the visual of actual
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah, precisely.
But yeah, I do want to move this down. I need to get organized.
Yeah, take your time.
Let's do, yeah, like I found out chicken and pasta with Alfredo sauce just goes down so easy.
Yeah, so it does. Alfredo
But
sauce is definitely it can get high fat very very quickly.
yeah,
So we'll see if that works for you in your diet or not. Um, let's take a look as you continue to build it out here. Yeah, so let's see. You have certain things split up here. So like meal two is the cashews, the yogurt, and the peanut butter pretzels. And meal one is your smoothie, your hash browns, and your burrito.
oh yeah, I gotta add the little tortilla. Huh?
Yes. And if you use brand name things, like if you're buying something from the store and there's a brand name,
Yeah.
you should actually search for the brand name because chances are it's added in MyFitnessPal. So if you know the name of it, you can just type it in the search bar.
Hmm, I don't know the name of it.
Is it in your fridge right now?
It is.
So I would say just go check it out because then you can make it as accurate as possible because you'll see there's variance here. Like one serving of this brand is this many calories, and one serving of this brand is a few
Right.
extra calories or a few less calories. So you really want to get
Thought
these
it
things as
was.
accurate as possible for every single thing that you add.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let me take notes.
Mhm.
So they still can't find the brand.
Oh no? Okay.
Try and type it in.
Yeah,
La
yeah.
Banderita. Oh, here it is.
Nice. Let's see. So you've added in some of your foods here. Now, are there any other foods here that like the brand name of? Um,
Hmm. I mean, honestly, I don't know about bananas, but
Bananas and fruits you may not need to worry about so much, assuming the serving sizes are about right. The
just about
protein
everything here
powder,
is from Kirkland.
okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably accurate enough. So we can leave it at that. But just know that if you really wanted to fine tune it and make it as accurate as
Right.
possible, you would want to get like, as close to the exact food you're eating in there. But for now, I think it's pretty good. So let's see, you've added or you've spread out some things, which is good. So now your breakfast, you're getting about 60 grams of protein, which is, still a little over what I said before, but not bad. And if you kind of look at the protein content for each meal, 59 grams, 40 grams, 34 grams, 54 grams, that's much better distribution. Much, much
Yeah.
better. Now, you're
Yeah, so I
still,
actually cut back a scoop of protein in the morning
okay.
to like balance some things out.
Yeah, so if you scroll back down to your totals for the day, this is tallying out to be about 2,500, which if you
Hmm.
remember I said that's like your minimum because
Right.
2,500 with the amount you're working out and the fact that you're a hard gainer, a young guy with a fast metabolism, you're gonna
This
want
is
to eat
out
more than
without dinner
25.
too.
This is without dinner, yeah. So, but if you look at that, your fat totals, you have 8 grams remaining.
Right.
So, again, you could maybe eat a dinner where you're only consuming 8 grams of fat, but you may want to end up cutting back your fat elsewhere in the diet. Before we do that, though, why don't we start adding in what you think would be your dinner? And we'll, kind of
Hmm.
see, where we're at after that.
Well, honestly, dinner will probably consist of whatever my mother has made,
Okay,
or if I get fast food,
okay.
or maybe just like I don't know. I don't know what I can even think of.
Well, okay, let's just talk
Something
about
along the
food.
lines of like some beef and rice, maybe.
Okay, well, like, so if you're being really realistic, is it going to be
Hmm.
most often your mom's cooking? Is it going to be most
Yeah.
often okay? So does she cook, different things every single time? Or she kind of like a
Yeah.
rotation, or are there some recurring foods that you see in there?
It's pretty random, but like last night she just made really nice mac and cheese,
Okay.
and what else did she make with that? I think that was all she made. Mac and cheese. But tonight she's making a penne vodka sauce with like what's that kind of meat? Like very
Um,
thin
hmm,
pork kind of.
huh,
Is it
okay.
bruschetta? Not bruschetta.
Oh, yeah, it might be.
Is it?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. So the two foods you mentioned are higher fat, higher carb foods for the most
Yeah,
part.
for sure higher carb. It's usually like a rice or pasta based dish with a protein in it.
Okay, well, so if you look at your totals, you need more carbs. You need another
Hmm.
75, grams of carbs here. But if you look at your fat, you're very close to your limit. And, mac and
Right.
cheese, you're gonna go way over 100 grams.
Uh,
Vodka sauce pasta, you're gonna go way over 100 grams. So just hearing that alone, I think what you should do is again scan through here, look at where your fat is coming from. Looks like the hash browns are definitely up there. The eggs are up there.
I
Um,
could cut the hash browns out. I just do those for the extra calories, really. But they're really high in sodium and fat.
yeah, so if you took them out, you'd have more room to eat a bigger dinner, and you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
worry as much about overdoing it with fat or carbs. It gives you more room in your carbs. So now you
True.
have over 100 grams left for dinner for carbs. You have 26 grams for fat. You could still go over that 26 grams. It's very easy to eat fat, especially when eating
Hmm.
mac and cheese and vodka sauce pasta. But at
Yeah.
least you've lowered it, so if you do go over, it's not as big of a deal. And as far as protein content, look, you only need 40 more grams to hit your goal, and
So I have a question.
yeah.
If I have too much fats or say too much carbs or too little protein stuff like that, does that just bottleneck gains?
So what it means is you're you're more likely to gain body fat and
Mm.
less likely to build muscle. It doesn't mean you
Oh,
won't
okay.
build muscle. It just means that, let's say you're eating a diet that was 50% carbs, 50% protein, or 50% fat, I'm sorry, and 0% protein, well, you're not eating any protein, right? So your
You're just
body,
getting fat as shit.
yeah, you're consuming a ton of calories, you're consuming a ton of fat and a ton of carbs. Your body is using carbs, your brain uses carbs, your muscles use carbs, and they store carbs in your muscles, in your liver. Body fat, that's easily stored. So if you're consuming dietary fat, it's very easily stored as fat. And then,
Mhm.
there's excess calories there. So your body is going to convert some of that energy into proteins for you, but it's not as efficient as if you were just eating protein directly. So now going back to this split, 40% carbs, 30% fat, 30% protein. This is a pretty balanced approach, right? Like 40, 30, 30, they're almost all near each other in terms of the number, percentage of calories coming from,
Right.
these foods. And it's not percentage of grams, it's percentage of calories. Yeah, look at that pie chart. I mean, it's almost a perfect peace sign, right? That's what you want.
Mhm.
So it's a very balanced diet, and balance is what you want. If you eat more protein and less fat, or more protein and less carbs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't gain body fat, because again, your body can convert one food type to another, like internally.
Mhm.
It's just that, it seems to be that these types of ratios are pretty ideal, where inevitably, as you're eating a calorie surplus to gain muscle, you're going to gain fat, but you want
Right.
to limit the amount of fat that you're
Mhm.
gaining. And the ways in which you can do that is training really hard, lifting heavy weights to build muscle, and not
Yeah.
eating an excessive amount of calories over your maintenance level.
Dude, I will never forget. Like recently, like just this past week, I had this big Chipotle bowl with extra rice, extra beans, chicken. I know it was pork and queso. And for the whole rest of the day and night, my stomach, I literally looked pregnant. Like it was
Yep,
visibly,
bloated.
visibly bloated. Like
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, this is fucking disgusting. I was like, this is not what I wanted.
yeah,
And I
and
think I asked you like either that night or the day after about it. I was like, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to get fat.
yeah, and it can easily happen. And actually, so bloating can happen for a variety of reasons. It can happen from
Mhm.
sodium, it can happen from carbs, it can happen from certain types of foods, like certain types of carbs, also high fats and things like that.
And that
Water
bowl just had
intake plus the
everything in it.
sodium. Yeah, exactly. So I actually want to look at your diet on my end real fast. I want to see how much fiber is in your diet at the moment. Aha, yeah, there it is. Okay. So based on everything you've added, this is without dinner. You're consuming 31 grams of fiber, which is good, which is definitely good. That's like above the minimum that you should be having. Minimum's like, let's say, 25 grams. The more the
Okay.
merrier when it comes to fiber, though.
Definitely.
So, whatever you
How
eat
much
in dinner,
poop,
you're going
right?
to get a few more grams of fiber. You probably get up to like 35, 40 grams a day, and that's pretty solid. So that's good for digestion. It's just generally healthy to get fiber. Now,
Oh yeah. I forgot to add. In the morning, I like to have an apple because that just makes me feel like I can poop easier.
yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. So why don't you go ahead and add your apple?
I started doing that recently.
Nice. Yeah, apples are great, man. They're low sugar, they're tasty, and the fiber is real. So yeah, go ahead and just add one medium apple to whatever meal you want.
Yeah, I usually eat in the breakfast because, like I said, I like to have a lot of like fruit in the morning to get that sugar spike to
Mm-hmm.
get my brain started.
Yeah, so let's talk about sugar again real fast. So in your meal one, right, if you look at the
Hmm.
total sugar,
There's a lot, yeah.
58 grams. Now that is over twice the amount that I was saying nutrition experts recommend for a daily, and that's in your first meal alone. If you go down to your
Yeah.
daily total, all the way down to the bottom, what's the total? So 80 grams. Now, of course, MyFitnessPal says, oh, your daily goal is 98 grams, which is stupid. That's way too high. Now, you haven't even eaten dinner yet. So dinner's going to bump that up a few extra grams. You might not
Right.
exceed 98 grams, but in my book, that's already really high.
Right.
So I would personally try to get rid of as much sugar as possible. And
Mhm.
if you scan through your diet, most of that sugar is going to come from fruit. It's also coming from your Oikos yogurt, 10 grams there, blueberries, 15 grams there, banana. So if you also can think of it this way, if you take out some of these foods now, then it just gives you
Mhm.
more room to eat food at dinner time. So if you eat
That's
like
true.
less banana, if you eat, no yogurt, well, the yogurt's actually good because it has a ton of protein for you. So I actually would leave the yogurt, but I would get rid of the banana. That's the one that I certainly would lose. You're gonna lose some
Yeah.
texture from not having the banana for
Honestly,
your
I don't
protein
even
smoothie.
like the banana in the smoothie that much,
Then take
cause
it
like,
out. It's not doing anything for you.
yeah,
I would consider leaving the blueberries, but it is a lot of sugar. So then it becomes,
mhm,
okay, should I have blueberries and strawberries, or should I just have one or the other? You're already having the apple too. Now it's saying there's 19 grams of sugar in an apple. I feel like that's kind of an overestimate based on what I've heard,
yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't
Let's try
take
and
it.
add a different apple,
See if you can find one. I'm curious if you can find one that
cause
has
that was just the top one.
let's see
This
with that
is
one.
let's try
I'm
this one.
very interested to see if the sugar is as high. It's just as
It
high.
says 19. Yeah.
Interesting. Let me just do a quick search. Apple nutrition. I was under the impression that apples had way less sugar than
Me
that.
too. I thought
Let's
they were
see.
just water,
I mean,
but they are very
fruit
sweet.
is always sugar and water, but yeah, I really thought there was a lot less sugar. Well, everything I'm seeing is suggesting there's actually a lot more sugar than I thought there was in apple. Shit. All right. Well, so then looking at the fruit that you're having per day, between all the fruits, I think blueberry and apple are the best ones in terms of nutrients. They also
Hmm.
coincidentally are high in sugar. So
You said blueberry and apple.
I think blueberry and apple are the most healthy ones despite the sugar content, just because of the fiber and the nutrients that are in them that are unique
Yeah.
to them. Strawberry, if you can live without the strawberry, I would say lose strawberry. The Oikos yogurt, so here's the thing with that. That's 10 grams of sugar. Now, if you took out the yogurt, you're down 30 grams of protein. However,
Right.
you could just have an extra half a scoop of protein in each of your protein shakes, and you'll replenish that very quickly.
Hmm.
So here we're mixing and matching. If it was my diet, I would take out the strawberry, I would take out the yogurt, even though you maybe like it a lot, and I would go with extra protein in my smoothies. That was going to bring my sugar down. That's going to bring my carbs down a little bit. I'm still going to have, plenty of protein in my diet. There's no, I'm not missing that protein. I would just like one and a half or even two scoops, whatever.
Yeah, I'll do two.
Okay. And that might also be
So
the case for your oh I guess yeah, it's only one with the fruit. Okay, so now looking at your macros again. Now you have a lot of carbs left to eat. You have 25 grams of fat, you have 47 grams of protein. And look at your sugar, all the way down to 50 grams now. Much, much better. A lot better than twice that. So, I'm pretty happy with that as a starting point. Over time, maybe you can decide, oh, maybe I want to get it down lower, but you're exercising, you're lifting weights. It's definitely not a priority. So I think it's fine as is. And now
mm.
this leaves a ton of room for dinner. So if you had dinner, you can eat pretty amply. Whatever your mom's cooking, you can afford a lot of carbs, you can afford a decent amount of fat, you can afford a lot of protein. Hopefully it's not too sweetened, but if it is, so be it. And I think this is a really good template for you, man. You're getting very good protein. You're hitting your numbers. Most likely
Like
you're gonna hit your numbers. Like the dinner is kind of a toss up. And yeah, meal two. What do you have to say about that?
you think that's just yeah, I just feel like it's lacking. Like I know it's just snacks throughout the day at work, because like this is let's say meal two is a time period between 10 and 10:30 till like 12 and 1, because then when that time comes I'm at work, I'm gonna eat my lunch that I packed, which is either gonna be the chicken with pasta or chicken and rice, something along that line.
Yeah, okay. So one option is you can take some foods from meal one and put it into meal two. For example,
Mhm.
you could move some of your burrito stuff to meal two. You could move your protein smoothie to meal two. I mean, it's really whatever you want to do with it. You can
I
play around
guess
with it.
yeah, because the burrito kind of sits in between meal one and two. Because I drink the smoothie before I start eating.
Okay.
Because drinking the smoothie is what helps my appetite get going, I guess.
Okay. So remember, really what matters most is the daily totals.
Hmm.
So the actual like the sequence of when you're eating the foods, it matters to a certain degree, like we were talking about, in terms of how much protein your body can utilize at once. So if you are like spacing out a little bit, that's even better. You can
Yeah,
reflect it here in MyFitnessPal. You can shift things down. You can make meal four, meal five, meal three, meal four, meal two, meal three, and you can take your burrito and make that meal two if you want, just to have it on record. But
right.
it's not absolutely necessary. If you're doing that in reality, then it's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
just to have it more broken up in the actual breakdown, I
yeah.
guess.
So I have a couple more things to say.
Hmm.
One is serving sizes. And it's actually that's the only thing I want to bring your attention to is serving sizes. Um,
Right.
these numbers are based off of these serving sizes, and I think it's really important to drive home because if you have less than a cup of blueberries in the morning, then you're consuming less calories and less sugar there.
Yeah.
If you have less or more than 3 eggs, then that's going to change that. Bacon, the apple, if it's a big apple versus a small apple, the cashews
True.
are another one. Nuts, people notoriously will snack on them and not realize how much of them they're eating because they add up very quickly. Like a handful of nuts is probably more calories than you think it is. So if you get a food scale, you can fine tune it and you can start to see exactly how much a quarter cup of
Yeah.
cashews is, and that will help you. But if it turns out that you're eating a cup of cashews a day, well, all of a sudden your fat just increased by 4 times. Like you see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like it can change the
Yeah.
numbers. So these numbers are based off of what you see. And if you're eating this much, I think your diet will work out. If serving sizes fluctuate, that's okay to a point, but that can result in big calorie swings where maybe one day you're eating 2500 calories, another day you're eating 4000 calories without even realizing it. And
Yeah.
you really do want consistency for the best result. So if you can get a food scale sooner rather than later, it's going to help you identify exactly what a quarter cup of cashews is, exactly what a cup of blueberries is, so on and so forth. And one last thing with meal 3, so 4 ounces of chicken, I can tell you right now from experience, that's one solid chicken breast. That's no more, no less. On
Like
average,
one like let's say
like a boneless
four
chicken breast.
4 inch by 3 inch or something.
Yep, yep. Like a very standard, like if you were at like a buffet or something, like one piece of
Hmm.
chicken breast, that's about 4 ounces. That's like the average amount. So if you had more than that, then your protein goes up, and protein, if you're gonna overeat any of them, protein's the one to overeat. That's gonna do the most, have the most
Okay.
benefit for you.
Yeah, I
Um,
try and do like at least two breasts with each meal.
okay. So right, and now look what has happened to your protein intake. So now you're very close to your goal. Meal three, yeah, meal three now has 56 grams of protein, which is still acceptable. It's a little higher than
Yeah.
the theoretical ideal, but it's not a bad thing. It's fine. And the burrito, you might be spacing that out. Maybe it's closer to meal two or its own meal. So meal one is not actually 80 grams of protein, it might be half that. So you kind of see,
Yeah, it's
where
half.
we're at now. And still, even with making that change with 2 chicken breasts, you now still have a lot of carbs, a little bit of fat, a little protein left. Um, Going back to meal 3 with the pasta and the chicken, okay, so that's 2 chicken breasts now. 1 cup of broccoli is actually quite a bit, but it's such low
Yeah.
calorie that we don't have to worry about fine tuning the serving size of that. It's really
Hmm.
fine. The pasta, however, 2 ounces of pasta. Now it's hard to say whether or not they're saying this is cooked pasta or uncooked pasta. When you add the food, if you go back to it might tell you actually, yeah, if you go to it. But if you add a new food, I'm not sure if learn more will say more, but if you type in pasta again here, if you type in uncooked or cooked, you'll find specific options for those. Um, and this comes back again to are you weighing it? Because if you've cooked the pasta and now you're weighing it, 1 cup of cooked pasta is different calories than 1 cup of uncooked pasta.
Hmm.
So that will be an important thing to figure out once you have a food scale as well.
So like this right here,
Yeah, so that's 1 cup of
fettuccine
cooked
pasta.
pasta, and for now we can just estimate it. But again, pasta is something that can add up very quickly in terms of carbs. So you just want to be mindful of that as well in terms of like when you're building this meal for yourself. Let's call it lunch for lack of a better word. The amount of pasta and the amount of chicken you're eating, it's gonna affect the calorie total and the carb total big time. So right now you have 2 different pastas added. So you might want to take out one of them. So that's one you had before, and that's the new one down there. So they're about the same. So it looks like the one you had added was a cooked pasta based on them being similar calories.
Hmm.
Now 1 cup of cooked pasta that might be plenty for you. But you might find out if you get a food scale that, oh snap, I've been eating 1.5 cups, 2 cups of cooked pasta. So for now, we can just leave
Yeah, I
it.
think I've been eating like 2 cups.
You may have, because you're a man on a mission. You're trying to eat to get bigger. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, going back to calorie totals, let's assume you're eating 1 cup. Let's look at your calorie totals one last time. Okay, so you still have one large meal left for you to eat. So that might be your dinner,
Right.
whatever your mom's cooking, or some fast food. And you'll probably work out that your numbers are pretty good after eating that dinner. But if you are having 2 cups of pasta, suddenly you now have, what is it, 43 grams less of carbs to eat in dinner. And right now you have an abundance of carbs. You have 136 grams, which is a large amount. So you could kind of pig out for dinner and eat a lot of
Yeah.
mac and cheese. Although the cheese will probably overdo the fat. But you kind of get what I'm saying.
Hmm.
But overall, this is pretty good. When you do get a food scale, we'll be able to refine this even further and really narrow things down, and know factually, like, oh, okay, I was overeating fat, or I was overeating carbs. Let me remove the peanut butter from my protein shake because that's just adding fat that I don't need. Or let me cut back from 2 cups of cooked pasta to like 1 cup or 1.5 cups. Or maybe we lose one of the fruits and we decide, oh, it's either a blueberry or apple and not both, or something like that. Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
order
this is
has
this
been
is what's
placed.
necessary, is basically, eating this way day in, day out, lifting consistently. And if you do that, you're gonna grow. I mean, you're gonna gain weight. If you're lifting and you're eating this much protein, you're definitely gonna gain muscle, and you are a generally leaner guy. So I'm not too concerned with you gaining like a lot of body fat, but you want to
Right.
do this the right way. And
Hmm.
the common mistake that people make in your position with your type of body is, oh, I'm just gonna eat anything and everything I want, no
Just
matter what.
overeat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're gonna intentionally like eat shitty foods and basically end up gaining a lot of weight, but it's not necessarily functional lean mass that's helping them in the gym, or helping their physique goals.
Yeah, like I definitely want to stay low percent, like low body
Absolutely,
fat
like who
percentage.
wants to gain fat? I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's not really what anyone wants, but
But like, but just like you said, people have like this like misconception of like, oh, you gotta get fat if you want to get big, like,
yes, and
or
and that's
just
that's bro science that comes from the
both
past.
sides.
It's complete bro science. To an extent, like, so someone who is a competitive fitness athlete, who they've been training for years and years and years, and also is on anabolic steroids. If you're in that position, then you may be able to tolerate a little bit more body fat gain in the short term, for the
Hmm.
sake of maximizing your muscle gain and knowing that you can get shredded
Right.
after the fact. And it's not the most efficient. Even the best bodybuilders, they know that the leaner they can stay in the quote unquote off season when they're trying to gain
Hmm.
muscle, the easier time they're going to have when they're trying to get lean to compete on stage again.
Is that
So
just because like does genetics come into play there?
genetics absolutely comes into play. So some people have a way easier time losing body
Hmm.
fat, and they have a way easier time not gaining body fat. I think you're one of
Yeah,
those
because
people.
yeah, I was gonna say for me example, like I could never gain weight even if I tried. So like
Exactly.
I'm gonna be trying to gain the weight, but the only reason why I'll be able to keep that weight is because I'm building muscle off of the weight I'm building.
Yes.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, so there's this concept of body types, and it's not a hard science at all. It's more of just like for discussion's sake, but maybe you've heard the terms ectomorph,
Oh yeah,
mesomorph, endomorph, right? So
I've
you're
looked into it a lot before, but like I always hear it constantly being thrown around because I watch a lot of those videos of like natural or like not natural people,
hmm
and they always bring in body type and what they looked like when they were a kid and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you,
But
you mentioned genetics, and that's kind of a factor, but it's not a hard science at all. Like, there's no genetic
hmm.
test that can be done and say, oh, you're 70% ecto and 30% meso. But if just based on knowing you, you're definitely ectomorphic, for sake of
Yeah.
argument. I wouldn't call you mesomorphic because you've always been a skinnier, leaner guy. There are some people who are naturally very gifted in that department, where they're not only very lean, but they're also pretty muscular. I mean, it's not that you don't have muscular strength, it's just that, on that spectrum, I'd put you more on the ecto side. You're
No,
not like,
definitely.
I wouldn't say 100% ecto. You're somewhere between ecto and meso, but definitely more on the ecto side than
It,
meso.
it's so funny because I was looking into this just yesterday after hearing this guy like like Jeff Seed
Yeah,
and
yeah.
David Lade
Yep,
and
yep, yep.
all those guys. he was basically doing a review on all these guys if they were natural or not, and he was talking about body types, and I was like, he was going really deep into body type. I was like, huh, I'm not necessarily fully ectomorph. I'm kind of in the middle of that because since I was a kid, if I worked out, like I would gain muscle really fast, but I
Yeah,
would lose it like just about overnight
yeah.
because but I'll never forget that one time I like really started eating big and working out. I gained like 15 pounds, and I was like actually started to get muscle mass. Like holy shit! But I lost it in like a week
Yes. So,
after I
so
stopped doing it.
there is another factor here, and that is noob gains. So when
Yeah.
someone first starts engaging in resistance training and lifting weights, I don't care if you're ecto, meso, endo, the initial few weeks and months of training, you will gain the most muscle you ever will in your life in the shortest amount of time, steroids or no steroids. But once
Yeah,
that
my
period
friend
of
Jake
training adaptation
always talks
occurs,
about that.
yeah, yeah. Once you've passed that initial phase, it's like adapting to anything, right? If you drink your first beer ever, you might get drunk, and then the next time you drink beer,
Yeah.
now it takes you 2 beers, 3 beers, so on and so forth. So there's a tolerance thing, but the difference
Hmm.
with this is that it's like a permanent thing. So once your central nervous system and your muscles have been exposed to weightlifting, that's it. Even if you take years off of training again, when you come back to training, it's not like you get to experience noob gains again. Maybe to an extent, but not at all like the first time ever. So very common, someone who first starts lifting, if they're doing it right, they're eating well, they blow up. They gain a ton
I
of
was just
weight, a
gonna
ton of
say
muscle early
because
on.
this is gonna be my first time like actually lifting weights. Because every time I've worked out before, it was just like home workouts and like body weight and shit like that,
Yeah, and that will get
and
you so
dumbbells.
far, but doing this weightlifting is gonna really transform it. You're gonna see your body gain in ways that it hasn't before, and then it will taper off,
Yeah.
which is completely normal. And you don't want to get discouraged at that point. Basically, you just have to keep training. The rate of
Is it
gain will slow down, but it's not that you can't gain anymore.
right? It just takes harder work and more consistency.
Yeah, basically,
Because
it's the consistency because the best
yeah,
people, like people who are really like well built, even with genetics on their side, it's time, man. It's investing. It's like anything else in life where like you can't just do it for a year and okay, now I'm jacked and I'm forever jacked. It's like no, you have to keep working
you
at it
gotta.
slowly. Like you have that peak progress in the beginning and then it tapers off and it stays tapered down. And now you can keep gaining, but very slowly. And if you do take time off from the gym or you stop eating as much calories, your body will very quickly give away muscle. Especially you, as more of an ectomorphic guy,
Yeah.
you're more likely to lose muscle if you stop eating a calorie surplus, if you stop lifting weights. So someone who's an endo or someone who's a meso, they build the muscle and they can maintain it much more easily. So someone like yourself will need to have more discipline in continuing.
Yeah.
And it's only if you want to keep gaining. You might get to a point where you're like very happy with the amount of muscle you have, and then you can just maintain. You don't need to keep eating a
Yeah,
surplus.
like it's really hard to put a number on it
Hmm.
of like what
Body
weight I want
weight.
to gain because I've never seen myself at that weight. Because
Okay.
like this gives me the comfort because like I know I'll be eating another. Like this is just what I know I can. I know I'll be able to eat every day.
Yeah, if you had
But
that every
I
single
know I'll
day
have
plus
yeah
mom's dinner or plus like another meal of your choosing,
yeah plus a filler basically
you'll
yeah.
pretty much be on point within a certain range or margin of error that is negligible. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's good that you know this now.
I'll be able to like pinpoint it down to like weights and actual
Yeah,
meals and stuff once I start doing it more. But like you said, I kind of like the idea of doing trial and error just to see what my body is capable of eating and how I feel eating that and stuff like that.
certainly, certainly.
But
Yeah, and like don't force feed yourself either. So like
no, no,
eating this many calories, I think you can do that. Once
yeah,
comes time for dinner, like don't feel like you need to eat as much as possible. Just eat like a normal meal, and chances are you're gonna exceed the 2,500 calorie mark, and most hopefully you're not exceeding 3,000 because really you don't want to go too fast, like we were saying.
yeah. Just last night, I didn't have much of an appetite, but I knew I still needed to eat, so I had like a little bowl of the mac and cheese, and then like 30 minutes later, I just made like a protein shake.
Perfect,
And that was
perfect.
it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Very good, very good. I'm glad we got this done, and now I can rest assured that you're gonna be doing what is correct and well. So just keep lifting hard with your friend, And
Oh yeah.
yeah, oh, one other thing, last thing. You should absolutely take progress pictures, both for yourself, but also if you're comfortable with it for Feel Think Fit, because
Oh yeah.
I would absolutely love to feature you one day, show your progress from being, you know, how you look now to however jacked you want to be. So
Yeah. What are some poses? Like I'll do a few different poses
you don't even need to
or
do
like
like fitness
positions.
poses. Really, it's just front, side, and rear. So basically,
Front side.
wear as
I
little clothing
have
as you're comfortable with. Like people just do it
right.
in their underwear or whatever, or like a bathing suit. And just it with a plain background, like a white wall or something, and just kind of stand in front and take a few front pictures of you just standing there, not flexing or anything, just kind of as is. From the side, same thing, just you know as is, and then from the rear as is, and just maybe take pictures like it could be either every 2 weeks, it could be every month, but you know, something like that. It doesn't need to be every week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely do that.
And then the other thing was
Because my friends have been telling me to do that too. They're like, you should track this shit. It's gonna be epic.
absolutely,
Alright.
and that's actually why I invited you to that Trainerize program. So I'm not sure if you ever got the invite from me,
I
but
don't think so.
so I'll send it right now since we're on the call. But basically, you don't even need to use Trainerize to the full extent because you're already doing the workouts properly and stuff. But it
Hmm.
would be more for I'm gonna resend it now. Um, it would be more to basically track your. Oh, you know what it is? Your email. I put your email in wrong. Whoops, my bad. Let me let me edit it real fast. John Dandria. There it is. Okay. Let me know if you get this now. John Dandria 0 at Yahoo.
Yep.
Cool, yeah, that should do it. So this will be for
Yeah,
tracking
there
your
it is.
body weight, and also you can put your progress photos in here if you're comfortable sharing them with me. If you don't want to, you can, you know, save them on your own or whatever, and we can just, you know, look at them over time. But this is what I use to like, you know, track my clients' progress, basically.
Yeah, like I'll probably take. I'll probably take them. Yeah, like once a week, or once every 2 weeks. You said.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. Once you if you do get your profile set up on there, I can actually like put it on your calendar. In fact, I'm gonna do it for you right now. So like uh, generally you'd want to take the progress pictures like in the morning or like sometime early in the day before you've eaten anything. So you know maybe it's a better thing to do on the weekends than the weekday when you have like you know work to get to or whatever. So I'll just like put it on your schedule recurring. So for example, let's see, we'll do to weigh in once a week. I'm gonna do that. What day would you like to weigh in? Is weekend better for you?
Um, Probably Friday.
Friday. Okay. So do
Friday or
Friday,
Sunday.
Sunday? No, we'll do
Doesn't matter.
Sunday weigh-ins. That way you have time on the weekend.
Oh, here we
So
go.
every week we'll do a weigh-in, and then we'll also do the progress photos on maybe a monthly basis. So that way you just know you're tracking it. You're gonna see, you know, the progress that you're making.
So I weigh in once a week. You said, and then
Yep, and it's gonna be on your
monthly.
calendar in the app. So you're gonna see this in just a moment. Let's see, monthly, every first, every. Uh, it doesn't even matter. Let's say, yeah, we'll just do. That's fine. We'll do every first Sunday. Let's see. Yeah, nice. Cool, cool. So yeah, once you get it set up, you'll see there's like a little calendar area for you, and I just put in to weigh in every Sunday week, weekly basis, and then yeah, you can take your progress photos next week as well, so that way it's sooner rather than later. And yeah, that'll be pretty much on a monthly basis too. And yeah, yeah, we'll just go from there. And then, you know, it'll all be tracked here. So that way over time we can see like the trend line, whether you're gaining weight consistently and, you know, how fast you are gaining it. And, you know, also see the progress photos there. And if you ever want, like, I know you're training with your friend, but if you want me
Mhm.
to give you like workout routines or something, I can give them to you very easily.
Yeah,
So
definitely. He's definitely open to doing different stuff, and I told him that like you're really educated in it, so he loves advice.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds like he knows what he's doing. So everything you've said that he said, I'm pretty
Mhm.
much in full support of. Aside from the creatine, I guess. But yeah,
I
but
know.
creatine is
It,
it's unnecessarily controversial. But no worries. Like
yeah.
he what he's doing is good enough, and I'm confident that he's helping you with the training aspect of it. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hell yeah. Definitely keep you
Um,
updated.
Yeah, there's also you can connect MyFitnessPal to your account here. But I sent you the request to do it. You get a message in the app. Not a big deal if you don't set up because I have access to MyFitnessPal manually. But whatever, you can if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So keep doing what you're doing. Use the diet from today in MyFitnessPal as your template and reference back to it, or save those things as custom meals, and then that way you can just add it in recurring if you want. And then yeah, I'll just check in with you here and there, and we'll see how far you get.
Sounds good.
Stuff, man.
Did you send me a link on the progress pic, or is it a reminder?
So in the Trainerize app, if you are in your account, either in the web app or there's a smartphone app for it too. Either one, if you go into your profile, there should be a section called Calendar, and when you go to your calendar, that will be you'll see it on the calendar like every week. It'll say track body stats, and that's just where you can enter in your body weight, and then you'll see on a monthly basis take progress photos, and that's pretty
Oh, I
self-explanatory.
see.
And yeah, you can do it all within the app. It might send you push notifications to remind you. If it doesn't, if you open the app, you'll see it there regardless, and you can just put it on your own calendar.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, man. Um, then I will. I'm gonna actually go get lunch and maybe drive a Miata. So I'll let you know how that
Hell
goes.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Be well, and good talking with you.
You too, man. Thanks
Take,
for all the info. We'll stay in touch and gonna get large.
nice, nice. Yeah, that's the plan. Enjoy, dude.
Thank you, man. I will.